We the people unite.
Well, hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to our Tuesday edition of We the People Unite. And you'll probably noticed August is not here today. Anitra is not here today. Mo is not here today. So Maureen and I are pitch hitting. But Andrea's here.
That's right. Here I am. I'm here.
Yay.
You got your special edition 3.
Exactly. Well, if you're in the chat, let us know you're here with us because, you know, we love to hear from you.
That's right.
And, oh, yeah. Hello. Angry Army Vet. Thank you. Hey, Jazzy.
Army. Hi, Jazzy.
Thanks for being here. You know, we love it. We love that you join us.
Hi, Katie. Katie's here, too.
Okay. Katie.
Oh, hi, Katie.
Oh, hey, Katie. Yeah. So today we're going to kick it off. Miss Andrea has a couple topics she would like to talk about. And then, you know, there's always news. There's always something to chat about. There's always something going on.
Yep.
So let me get things ready. And Miss Andrea, I will let you kick it off.
Yeah, and thank you for having me tonight. I wanted to talk about, again, putting people out of the United States of America again. Just a minute. And I want to show the video. I always like to start off with the video because it gives you something to know what we're talking about, and instead of me just rattling, and then we can talk some. And this is Representative Eric Swalwell gives an update on a deaf Hayward boy family deported to Colombia. And this is Hayward, California. So, you know, if you could listen up.
Okay, let me play that. Uh-oh. Let's unmute.
Gubernatorial candidate Eric Swalwell. This comes after a mother and her 2 children were deported from Hayward to Colombia. One of her children is deaf, and her attorney says they were deported after showing up for a routine immigration check in San Francisco. NBC Bearer's Robert Honda has more on the escalating public outrage to get that mom back.
East Bay Congressman Eric Swalwell led an angry group of local leaders and supporters blasting ICE and the Department of Homeland Security today. Swalwell, who is also running for California governor, is joining a call to investigate the case of Leslie Rodriguez Gutierrez. She was swiftly deported to Colombia last week with her 2 children, including Joseph, a 6-year-old with a hearing disability.
In a move that shocks the conscience and violates several laws, as well as our Constitution, ICE denied Joseph the assistive devices he needs to live.
Swalwell said his office addressed that immediate need first.
As we stand here, my staff has just landed in Colombia and is placing the hearing devices back in the boy's ear.
Swalwell said he is now working with Gutierrez's attorney to bring the family back based on what is called humanitarian parole. Then he said he is calling for a congressional inquiry.
If you want to deport a cartel boss, everyone here will help you pack their bags. But if you're coming for a 6-year-old, you have to go through us.
The Department of Homeland Security has said Gutierrez received a deportation order in November 2024 and emphasized ICE does not separate families, and Gutierrez chose to be removed with her children.
Let me be clear. Contrary to what DHS is saying, Ms. Rodriguez Gutierrez was never given a choice to be removed. She never chose deportation, and she never agreed to it.
A family member who asked not to be identified says the deportation has hit the entire family hard.
No queremos estar acá en la casa.
Truth be told, we don't want to be in the house. Every space reminds us of them. The silence, it's very devastating. The silence.
Robert Honda, NBC Bay Area News.
Yeah. How can they, the evil, I don't know, it just doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. So just, yeah. So guys, bear with me. I'm used to having August here. So,
Okay, there we
so
go.
I have to.
This this reminds me of, I mean, again, this is America, and I think we forget this is America. This is supposed to be a country where people come to get new opportunities and start over, start a new life, and we have more medicines and more things for hearing devices, and if you can see or if you have cleft mouth, where the people mouth is shaped really funny, and they come here for help. They don't come here to be harassed. And it made me remember I want to say Minnesota, when the people were in Minnesota just grabbing people again, because they were grabbing people, and here we started a war now, and now we're snatching kids again. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. We need children. I keep saying there's not enough young people involved in politics. We need more people involved, because one thing about this past generation is you were raised really in a peaceful climate. And it was my generation that saw all of the racism, and then we finally had the Civil War, civil rights movement, and Martin Luther King was said, we shall overcome, and then Jesse Jackson just passed, and we're going to miss him, another terrible loss for us as a country. And so now we want to still take the children. You don't know who the next president going to be, and as long as it's not one of Trump's sons, I'm fine with that. So I just think that if you're handicapped or disabled, or you're coming for new opportunity, I think we should let people come in. I don't believe in open borders if you're a criminal, but I believe in people coming here and they're just hardworking individuals, because we still don't have enough people building houses or shrimp boating or working the fruit, and picking the vegetables. We don't have enough people in this country right now that want to do those type jobs. I was just thinking, what do you think?
They use these kids as pawns, as props, as everything. They use these poor kids, and that's the part that's aggravating. And I'm hoping to see that when this is all said and done, that these are crimes against humanity, and these people are going to be held accountable. I hope.
Well, and the funny thing is, he's stealing our money. But the people that come here that want an opportunity and not stealing from the country, you would think you would let them. You'd be happy to have them here.
I was interested. Oh, go ahead, Maureen.
I just want to say, looking at those two children, well, of course, it's heartbreaking, but I don't just like both of you, I don't understand it. Why are we doing this to children? We shouldn't be doing it to the mothers and fathers either, but how can you have a conscience? How can you feel right about this? Sending them off somewhere. Those children and that mother, they don't know what Colombia is all about. Their home is America. And their family,
What's interesting, I don't know if any of you watch The Pit, the series.
No, I've heard about it.
It's excellent. And what I love about it, not only is it a more true to life medical drama, the show's some gore. I have to sometimes turn it off. It's like, okay, that's just too much for me. Like the episode last night, but they hit on a lot of these core issues. And one of the storylines from last night was a little boy who, because it's on 4th of July, is this particular season, the way they structure it. I won't go into that. But he was from, his parents were from Haiti. And he and his sister were here, and she was taking care of him. He's 12, and he came to the hospital because he held an M80 in his hand and blew off like 2 of his fingers, whatever. Anyway, the storyline was they were trying to find out, why is the sister taking care of this 12-year-old boy? And it was the parents that got deported. to Haiti. And they didn't want him to have to go. He doesn't know Haiti. This is what we're seeing. These kids are born here. They don't know these other countries that their parents were from, whether it's Mexico or Haiti or Colombia, and so they deport the parents. And the sister decided to take care of the 12-year-old. But they hit on all these storylines, things that we're dealing with right now. So I thought that was interesting coincidence, that they're talking about that.
And for me, it was, I was talking to a family friend before we came on the air tonight, and she was saying there were more people deported under Trump. And I said, no, there were more people deported under Biden and Obama. I said, and they just made you think the borders were just wide open during Biden and Obama, and they weren't wide open. The one thing that was different about Biden is that we had the pandemic while he was, it continued on, that we were losing people, and we might have let more people in at that time because we had lost so many people, and there wasn't enough people to fill some of these jobs that regular Americans don't even want to do. We talk about we want to build, we don't want to get out in the sun and build houses. We don't want to go dig trenches. We're very, one thing about America is we're spoiled. It will do some things, but we're not doing other things. So I was like, no, that, Obama and Biden during their terms, we did deport more people. It's just we did it in a more sane way.
Well, we did it in alignment with the law.
That's right.
And without Americans getting killed in the streets, and without having to build all these detainment centers. They actually deported people and didn't hold them in these god-awful places.
And that makes me think of something else. They are talking about, Indiana is talking about they can't have any more homeless people on the street. And to me, these places that they're building could help homeless versus putting immigrants in them, people that's trying to become citizens in this country. Some immigrants know more about the United States than we know. You ask me a question, I might not be able to answer myself, and I was born here.
Well,
I just think they need to, I think they need to concentrate on where homeless people, because a lot of people that are homeless actually have mental illness.
Right.
Yeah, that could be a whole nother show.
But you're going after deaf children. And the other thing, and Miguel is pointing out, he wants the gold card, and is the gold card, I forget, was the gold card 5 million or 1 million? I thought it was 5 million, but if you pay $5 million, you can come into the country and wait, and then Trump will sue the country and take the 5 million anyway.
Yeah, I think that's all BS as usual on his part. I don't think it even, besides that's terrible to do it that way anyway. Yeah.
I just want to answer some of these comments that we're seeing in, and Katie said it was 5 million. So we're just talking about Obama and Biden. I mean, Trump always refers to Obama and Biden constantly, right? They haven't been president a long time, but I think it is important to highlight the fact that they were able to deport a lot more people without the performative BS and without breaking the law, sticking to the Constitution and the oath of office, and without having thugs in the street shooting protesters with those pellet guns, smoking them out, doing all these awful things that they do.
And I agree with Heather that we are still talking about Obama and Biden, and the only reason I do is because, again, like Kim said, the Trump is still talking about Obama and Biden and how awful they were, and they did this and we did that, and I just wish we could all let it go and focus on the country at hand. I would like to not be in a war right now, and I would have liked to not seen this young boy who is deaf deported last week from San Francisco area. So, and now Swalwell is trying to get him somewhere to stay back in the United States. It wouldn't have come up had ICE not gone and deported them. You know, just like Minneapolis, Renee and what's his name, Renee
Alex.
and Alex. I wish they were still alive.
The thing is, we highlight these Liam Ramos, right? We highlight this little boy, but do people understand there are so many children in these god-awful places that are getting sick, that they're feeding them this food that isn't, we treat our animals in zoos better than they're treating these people in these detention centers.
That 5-year-old that when they tried to grab the father, they tried to make it seem like that he had just left his 5-year-old son on the street, just left him there, and the parents didn't care anything about him. No, ICE just took him. So, I would like to talk about a new president, actually, if you got one in mind.
Well, I'll tell you, I've never heard any other president keep on talking about the former president. That's just really kind of unheard. They usually treat former presidents with more respect. They're not doing what Trump is doing, even if they didn't agree with each other, what have you. I mean, this is unprecedented.
Let's respond to John here. Tired of people complaining about people not happy with the United States get lost if they're not happy. What is your response to John?
Well, my response to John is the people were happy here. It was ICE that was tired of these people being here. It's not the people that are unhappy with being here. Is ICE does not want. I can't say ICE. Trump does not want the immigrants here. He does not respect brown and black people, and he says he wished all of the immigrants would come from Norway. What happened to Norway? How come the Russians don't come? He wants this to be a completely white country, and so that's what makes us bring it up. These people do want to be here. They don't want to be kicked out. These people did not want to be kicked out of the United States. I love the United States.
This I agree with, John. Term limits for Congress and Senate. Absolutely. Term limits. Yeah.
I agree with term limits because I wonder where the Supreme Court is at this time. They've been awfully quiet. This is the quietest I've ever seen the Supreme Court in all these years.
I agree.
It's deafening.
The amazing Jacob. Okay, so interesting. The Antichrist is widely believed to present himself as a figure of peace or a pseudo-Christian leader, initially to deceive rather than openly opposing Christianity from the start. That is Trump. And I fall into the category of not religious, spiritual, not religious. So I don't really buy into the lot of dogma. But I will say that based on the story of the Antichrist and everything in Revelation, because I have read it, this is true.
I think the one thing I don't like is they said no more wars, the end to wars and starting wars, and especially long-term wars. But I think this particular war, I think he has bitten off more than he can chew. He actually killed a leader that was 86 years old, and now his son has taken his place, and now he's coming out just like Trump did. He's going to be revenge on America, and sometimes that does scare me because I'm scared of already eight military people have already passed, and Donald Trump came and he watched six of them come back to the United States in the helicopter, in the planes, and 2 of them he had to go play golf. So, I mean, he started a war that he's not even committed to, and I just think that's shameful. You know, he promised that the price of eggs was going to come down. Eggs haven't come down. I mean, gas has gone up again. Egg prices haven't come down, and the food, you don't even want to go in the grocery store. You can't afford to go in the grocery store.
What do you think of this comment? Of the people, by the people, for the people. I agree. Can only work. It was led by one of the people. Trump is one of the people? Really? Trump was born with a silver spoon. Trump is not one of the average everyday citizens.
No, he's not. And I've known that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and so I would disagree with that sentiment. And you can say that of every president has always been.
Yeah.
The people.
If you've ever talked to people who, and I have in my travels in the East Coast, he didn't care about people. He never has. And he's taken homes away. His family has. No, there's no caring there from my
You
feeling.
can't relate to the majority of Americans. So I would disagree with that. I also disagree with this, John. This is propaganda that has been disputed over and over and over and over. And I know it. I have family members who this sound bite I hear a lot. This is not based in fact. So I would just encourage people to stop listening to Fox sound bites and actually get off of television or internet or whatever and do some actual research, because this is not accurate. So I just wanted to point that out. My parents were fresh air parents for 15 years, Latin inner city kids. Three of them, and all time in the summer.
Had them all time in the summer. I don't know what a fresh air parent is. I've never heard of that term. What's a fresh air parent? I don't know. I mean, have you heard that term before?
No, I haven't.
We live in a very delicate system. The only thing that keeps in balance is war, disease, and famine. Wow. Really? I disagree with that. War, disease, and famine. So survival of the fittest, is that where we're going with this? Interesting. We appreciate the comments, by the way. So please like and subscribe.
We might not understand them all, but
get our content out. But one more from John. Anybody caught with drugs, 10 years, 10 years, there should be voter ID, voter identification. Here we go again with more. The states verify your citizenship when you register to vote. And I want to ask you a question. Why have our elections been free and fair and good every time, throughout our history, or recent modern history, except for when Trump loses? That is my question. Why is it rigged when he loses, but not when he wins? Answer me that one. So let's, wow, you guys are, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's just hard to keep up. So let's go on with our next topic, and I'll try to.
Well, and the other people don't complain about winning. The other Republicans do not complain about winning when they win. But Trump is the only one that I know of, when he loses, says it was rigged, and it wasn't rigged, and he won this time, and we didn't hear it was silence.
That's a good point, Andrea.
So.
Okay, so Andrea, you want to talk about the SAVE Act, which we were just talking about elections. So what a great segue.
Yeah, and the guy was talking about the voting, and that is very important. Just like we just had a Senate vote in Texas, where here they had changed all of the lines, the gerrymandering was done, and Jasmine Crockett, her people, the Democrats, didn't know where to go vote. The Republicans knew where to go vote, but the Democrats didn't know where to go vote. And so a lot of people refused voting at the districts that they normally go to. So gerrymandering is illegal. But I want you to see the video first, watch that, and then we can talk some more.
All right.
And finally, on the SAVE Act. Yesterday, Donald Trump posted that he will not sign any legislation, no matter how important, until Congress sends him the SAVE Act, and a beefed up SAVE Act at that. The SAVE Act is nothing more than Jim Crow 2.0. It is a voter suppression bill. It takes away vote by mail. It makes it harder for people to register, and would require states to hand over voter rolls to election deniers at the Department of Justice. The real damage here is not when you show up at the poll to vote and ask for ID. It's the registration. They ask every state for their voter rolls, and a Musk-inspired Doge voter ID using AI would be used to take tens of millions of people off the voting rolls, and they're not even told. They show up at the voting place on election day. They say, sorry, ma'am, sorry, sir, you're not on the rolls. Why? Because of this Doge thing. It's outrageous. It is Jim Crow all over again. And now he says he doesn't even want vote by mail. Tell that to handicapped people. And to register, when they kick you off, you have to show up in person, only 5% do, and you have to show a passport or an original birth certificate. Very hard for people to obtain. It's outrageous. Outrageous. And now Donald Trump says he will not sign any bill to lower costs, lower rent, lower groceries, until Congress passes this bill taking away tens of millions of citizens' right to vote. If Trump is saying he won't sign any bills until the SAVE Act is passed, there'll be total gridlock in the Congress. On the other hand, if the SAVE Act does pass, democracy will be in very serious danger. Donald Trump is saying, in effect, unless Congress helps him undermine democracy, he's prepared to hold the rest of the country hostage. This is what he does. He's a thug. He's a bully. He can't ever argue on the merits, so he threatens. And no bills to bring down gas prices, no bills to make groceries more affordable, no bills to increase housing, not until the SAVE Act passes. That's what Donald Trump is saying. Democrats will make sure that never happened.
I appreciate that. The one thing it makes me remember about Gaza is that's how they killed a lot of people. They starved them to death. And now that's going to be the Riviera of the Middle East. And I don't think that's right. I think everyone is entitled to a vote, whether we like who they choose or not. We had free and fair elections. The one thing about the SAVE Act is it targets women that have gotten married and maybe they can't locate the marriage certificate, or they, or whatever, or they don't even have their, like they say, their birth certificate, proving how they went from, say, last name Cox to last name Smith. And so therefore they take them off the voting roll. They show up, they can't vote because they can't prove who they are. And that could be millions and millions. They said it could be anywhere from 10 to 20 million people that won't be eligible to vote. So I think everybody should be able to vote. If you're a U.S. citizen, you should have the right to vote. I think we should actually be registered to vote when we turn 18, graduating out of high school.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the way I've seen it, we've always been registered to vote. I mean, and we haven't had any problems. Now I'm in California, and I think we have a pretty good system in place, but it could turn out that we may not have it if he gets his way. And that's just ludicrous. We obviously should know what he's doing. He wants to be president again.
Only Congress can change how we vote, and the states have to be involved with that. Voting belongs to the states. The other thing I wanted to make a comment, because I'm seeing a lot of comments in there, and when we're talking about, I've changed my name, so I have my maiden name. I've been married twice, so I've had 3 different last names. My birth certificate does not match any of my documentation that I have. Now, there's something called a vote tax, right? That is actually goes against the Constitution. We are not supposed to have any type of voting tax. While this wouldn't be an official voting tax, it will cost people money to obtain a marriage license, a divorce, another marriage license, get a passport. Now, if the federal government wants to make these IDs free for everybody and do the grunt work on verifying this information, that would be different, but they're not doing that. That's not what they're proposing. And please, please, please read the entire SAVE Act before passing judgment on it, because all a lot of people are getting are the talking points, right?
And
the sound bites.
Yeah, they don't know that our systems, our software systems are not updated with all of the correct information for people to vote. And it would take years of work. It would take years of work to update our system with all the correct information. Another thing that came to my mind while Kim was talking was African Americans, they didn't used to keep record of their births. And so a lot of people, and my parents being one, they don't have a record of their birth. And so they have to go by, what they state. Some of them, a lot of them don't even know how old they are really. So, and that would unlawfully kick them off the voting roll. So, I think everybody, they're here, they've been voting, we're not dead, because he tried to say a lot of people are voting that are dead. But they even tested in Utah, they did a test to see how many illegal voters were voting out of 2 million people. And they only came up with one person.
Yeah.
And that one person didn't even get to vote, but that's the one they picked.
Again, you're hearing sound bites. So Greg, I want to come to you as well. States can push mail-in and illegals to vote. I'm going to refrain from illegal. They're undocumented. Undocumented people cannot vote in federal election. They cannot vote for president. And Andrea just gave you some stats on that. So please, again, just look up the information, because you're being fed the wrong information. So for us here to be a truly, it's important for us to be informed citizens. And that goes back to the Constitution. They made it very clear that to give us the right to self-govern, we have to take the responsibility of being informed citizens. We need to be educated. And we are being fed so much BS that it is hard. I will grant it. It's time consuming to actually look for the truth, but we have to do it. We have to do it.
Well, the one thing that Trump says is he loves uneducated people. And that's one of the reasons why it's okay with him to take away the books. It's okay for him not to educate you. And the problem is a lot of people seem to be okay with it. And he also calls people stupid. He said he loves stupid voters. He loves it. I'm like, I don't love being called stupid. And so I've taken it upon myself to educate myself, turn the TV off, and I read more.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. Reading.
Reading history. Yeah.
Not
Important.
banning books. Why are you banning books? Just because the truth will be out? I thought black people didn't know about their history, but now in my studies, I found out a lot of what people describe as white people know less about your history than we do. And I found that amazing.
Yeah. 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 So, any more? I'm going to see if we have any more comments on this topic because we have another topic we wanted to get to today. Andrea, did you have any more that you wanted to say on the SAVE Act?
Well, again, I just want us to protect our voting rights. And if, I do know a lot of handicapped people, and as we get older, and I have aged, as we get older, we can't always make it to the polls. So we do need to keep mail-in voting. We need to keep mail-in voting. We need to, I mean, for the most part, most people are honest. Even if I don't like what you say, most people are honest. And I think freedom of speech, because he's trying to take away our freedom of speech also. I think you should be able to freely say, to me, if you can talk with dignity and respect and not call me out of my name and call me Andre and have a meaningful conversation, I think that's good. I would love to talk to people. I love talking to people.
Yeah, absolutely. This I agree. The line between opinion and fake news is so blurred that not only can we not tell the difference, it's going to reach a point. I don't agree that it's not going to matter. Truth always matters. But I think as someone with a background in technology who works in AI, who's also a media scholar, I will tell you we have a huge issue with not only disinformation, but confirmation bias, and the fact that even when people are presented with the facts, they don't believe it because it goes against what they've been told or what's been ingrained, or what the psychology of it is so deep that even when the truth is presented, a lot of people will not take it in.
And I think that's what he's saying, is that even the lines are so blurred that to try to convince you of the truth, it sounds like a joke. That don't sound, and they still don't believe you. And that's what I think that person might have been trying to say. The truth does matter, but sometimes it's hard to convince a person once they believe something that's not true.
Because it's repeated over and over and over
And
and
that's how
over. It is a form of brainwashing.
It is.
It absolutely is. And so, again, it's up to us as citizens to be informed. And it's extremely, extremely important in
But if
the
they
research.
take away the books for me to research, so sometimes the truth is hard to get to. I mean, like I said, I see both sides.
Yeah. It is. I'm not saying it's easy. What the research is finding, though, that when people are presented, let's say AI is now being used as a kind of a gatekeeper of disinformation, and AI will say, "Hey, you know what? This it doesn't ring true here. You might want to look at these sources." When we do preventative measures to stop fake information, people tend to be more open to looking at that information. When it's done after the fact, it's much more difficult, if not impossible, because we're dealing with deep held beliefs and confirmation bias. So that's what the research is telling us right now. So you guys, great. Keep up the conversations in here. We love it, love it, love it. Shall we talk about Iran a little bit, since that's another hot topic? I don't know about you guys. I didn't vote for war. An unnecessary war at that. So I just want to play a little bit of this, and then we'll have a discussion.
I want to bring in MS Now's Ines de la Cutera in Jerusalem. Retired Army Major General James Marks, Director of Allied Critical Metals, and Jamil Jaffer is founder and executive director of National Security Institute and former White House Associate Counsel. under President George W. Bush. Jamil, what's your reaction to the president who on one hand is saying he wants this over soon and then saying, well, but it won't be over until Iran is no longer a threat?
Well, Chris, clearly the president's trying to figure out a path forward here. He's trying to figure out how long he can stay in this fight without losing his political base, without losing support here in the United States, while also taking the fight to the Iranians and ensuring that they can't have a nuclear weapon, ensuring that maybe the Iranian people are able to rise up, as he talked about in his first message, but certainly take out their ballistic missile capabilities in their Navy. We've done some significant damage, but the real question is, what does the end state that the U.S. wants to look like? Is it a supreme leader that we can work with, as the president said it 2 days ago, or is it something else? We don't really know because the story keeps changing every day.
And General, when the story changes, I wonder if the president's remarks specifically about a timeline influence military strategy on the ground, or they have a plan, they're executing that plan until they're told to stop.
Oh, the planning continues. What you routinely do is you work through what's called branches and sequels. What's going to happen if we have excessive victories or wins? And what will we do when we run into a challenge and we have to pivot off of that? So that takes place as a matter of routine. I think what we're seeing really is this is kind of the end of the beginning. Let's go back to the post-Desert Storm construct. After Desert Storm and we pushed the Iraqi military out of Kuwait, we created a Operation Northern Watch and Southern Watch, where we boxed in the Iraqi military. And over the course of 12 years, we conducted air patrols and we went after Iraq when they stepped out of bounds, out of this prescribed box. I think we're now in the point where the velocity of the fire, of the strikes will decrease and will be a more sustainable pace. And as I think it's crystal clear, if we can detect increased production and a focus on missile development and enriched uranium, nuclear development, and activities by the proxies, Israel and the United States will remain engaged.
So are you suggesting that on different levels, this could go on for years?
I think it could on different levels. Chris, I think what you're describing is exactly that. What the United States and Israel has been able to achieve, albeit there is a new supreme leader. He is not a friend of the United States. He is not a friend of the region. This guy is going to be boxed in and be isolated like his father. The challenge is IRGC remains in control, and this is an internal control mechanism. They've decreased their ability to export terrorism, although we can talk about sleeper cells and all that other stuff, which is critical. There's been a period of enhanced vigilance. But yes, there could be an ongoing operation not dissimilar what we saw in Iraq, and the only reason it terminated is when we went to war against Iraq in 2003.
So I want to stop there a minute because if you saw the little ticker down there, this was just 4 hours ago here in, whoops, wrong one. Here in Los Angeles. Our gas here in Los Angeles since this war started. I don't know if that's what y'all voted for. So I just wanted to make a few statements about this. So he warned that this is Trump, warning that if Iran interferes with global oil shipments through the Strait of Hormuz, the United States would respond with overwhelming force. He says that it would be hit 20 times harder if it attempts to block oil traffic. So we know that 20% of the oil comes through that area each day. In public statements, he used the terms death, fire, and fury. So I find it interesting that he and the Israeli prime minister start this war in Iran, and Iran retaliates. And so now it's, game on, evidently. He also suggested that the conflict could escalate further, that the campaign could continue until their military leadership is eliminated. I just got to ask y'all, and do you agree with this war? Do you agree with what's happening? I'm really curious. Or is it just a distraction? A pretty hefty price that we all have to pay as taxpayers for a distraction. and for cost of lives. And don't forget those little girls that were killed at the school. This is not, and showing a video game, showing the beginning of a video game and then real targets being hit. What the hell is that? Is my question. This is not a game. People are dying. So I put that question out to you all.
Well, see, I think President Trump had a different agenda other than trying to get us to not talk about Epstein anymore. I think he was actually after the oil, and that's why he in Venezuela. That's why he went to Venezuela first and took their president hostage. And I also think in Ukraine, why he is no longer helping Zelensky is because they want the minerals in Ukraine, and so him and Putin are buddies, and so it's like double teaming him to get the minerals. And then we tell Canada we want to take over Canada. Then we go to Greenland, say I want you to, and Iran. And well, we already took over Gaza now, and we already killed all these Palestinians, and we took over Gaza, so we took that over. And if you really look at a map and see how small Gaza is, that's terrible. And then we would say, okay, Iran, in the middle of the night, I was asleep. And I woke up and I keep saying, this must be a dream. This must be a dream that you went over there and killed all them girls in the middle of the night, and you killed U.S. military, and you killed over 550 people that were just in their bed sleeping, not even thinking about, some kind of war was coming to them. I want to know, what are you really trying to do? What is his agenda? What is really his agenda? But to not talk about Epstein, or like he said with the SAVE Act, he said, unless we sign the SAVE Act, he said, we're not going to see lower grocery prices, or we're not going to see lower oil prices. I mean, he's retaliating against us too. So I don't know what to say.
Absolutely. Before I know Vinart, first of all, thank you so much for your service. And I agree. I don't put anything past this administration. And you had one more here. Yeah, the video game. I mean, we live in a world with crime, death, rape, crime, child molesters, drug addiction, murder. Yeah. Any society, what do we do? What do we do? Oh, repack.
Repack. Go somewhere else, huh? I wish that is this what America has become? And I know we talk a lot about, maybe this is what America always was, because of how this country was settled, colonized. We get that. We understand that. I think over many decades, we have tried to do better as a country. And it seems like all of a sudden we are backsliding to a degree that I don't know if we'll ever get our footing again. That's the scary part. Thank you for your comments. It's called terroristic assault. And so not only is he terrorizing Americans, he is terrorizing us because we live in fear. And I have friends in the military now and are still active duty. And I had to call and see if they were going to really go out. And fortunately, some of them are not going out because they served so long. It's younger people going. But the thing about it is we need our younger people. We need our younger people, to help grow this country. And that's why he said he stopped abortion so that we could make our country grow some more. But not only is he terrorizing Americans, the Greenland people can't sleep. The Venezuelans don't sleep. The Iranians, you just killed his father. They're going to come after us. I'm worried there's going to be another September 11th.
Another thing that disturbs me by just talking to my great nephews is they're afraid that they're going to be drafted. We haven't talked about drafting our citizens since the Vietnam War. We thought we got rid of it after the Vietnam War. So there's a lot of terrified young people right now that wonder what's going to happen to their lives.
Well, yeah, I want to respond. We're talking about repackaging all this as a video game and selling it to our kids, and I agree with that. As someone who struggled with my younger son who had a gaming addiction, I do agree with that. But we also have an administration and someone leading this country who still thinks he's on a reality TV show. Who only gives a shit about the ratings and what can he do next? Putting his name on everything, airports being named after him. I mean, how big does his ego have to get? So I wanted to respond to what Iran, what the leadership there, they are not afraid of us. And so one of the comments they made is, so beware lest you be the ones to vanish. And they are making those threats, not just to Trump, but to America. So we have, we have pause to be concerned. Let me just share this one thing here, and then I'll go back to the comments. So Iran makes a veiled threat to Trump. Be careful not to get eliminated. This is a big country. And I will tell you, we here are we're not fond of the leadership Iran. We're not fond of the government Iran. We're not, there was a time when Iran was much more democratic, right? Not unlike us. So, but this is not this was not our war to get into. So Iran is not afraid of us by any stretch. Let's go to some of the comments, because you guys are on it today. I don't want to insult anybody. I'm going to leave you with this phrase. It's not enough to just look, you have to see. I agree with that. I agree with that. Oops. Katie. Oh, yeah, but Katie, we have to talk. We have to have a conversation, but I get it. Army vet. Yeah. They're not seeing our comments. Oh, it's hard because we have two different streams going. We have a landscape stream and we have an iPhone vertical stream. So the two do not meet. So one stream cannot see the other. Oh, you're still here. I wanted to see this. Saudi Arabia is our ally. Kuwait is our ally. Israel is our ally. Syria is our ally. So is the UK. So is Canada. All of Europe. And look what we did to our allies there. So I do agree, but we can't forget our other allies. Is the last one we already run the entire Middle East, despite what you say. I'm not in the know on that, so I can't respond to that. We run so explain a little bit more to us, since you're in the Navy, what you mean by that. Well, America, we've always have been kind of the leader of the free world. We have always been the gorilla in the room, but that's because we were so respected. We are not that now. We do have the best military, I think, in the world. People would argue that China does. And I don't know. I'm not in the military. I can't say that. I think they march really well. But when it's combat to combat, I don't know. I think we have one of the greatest militaries in the world.
Well, I think that we were doing okay with I mean, unless I'm blind or something, I thought we were doing okay with the world. And I mean, and what I mean is, you know, like you said, Canada is our ally. I like Mexico. You could travel to now Canada is boycotting the United States, and now Mexico wants to boycott the United States. And then, like I said, Venezuela, and then nobody wants to, you know, I feel like the whole world doesn't like us.
Well,
something on that. I don't think the whole world dislikes us. I think they don't like Trump and his administration. I was back in the era of Vietnam when I was really young in 20s. That's when people didn't like individual Americans. You go to Europe and people would swear at you as you're walking down. Not everybody. I just wanted to make that point. I really don't feel that way. In fact, they embrace this. You even see them embrace this on certain shows, you know, that they're listening to, giving us their sympathy. So if we can hang on to that and we can find a way for this administration not to be there anymore, we have a lot of work to do, don't we?
Well, he's trying to figure out a way not to leave, and his base is supporting him, and his base is, and until they stop supporting him, seeing that this man, see, you know what they say, that, you know, I think we're going to get hurt because of our president right now, and innocent people. That's when they say, and innocent people will die, and that's what my fear is. The innocent people, like those innocent people in Iran, passed away. I think we're going to pass away because of his ignorance.
That's interesting. So I understand you can talk about when you were in the service, we should have seen the crap they were doing at the Pentagon. We're not naive that there's a lot of shit that goes on that we don't know about. I agree. I think one of the things that we've come to realize, that I definitely came to realize, and what I was somewhat naive about, that our democracy was pretty solid, that we had three co-equal branches of government that were tight. I never thought in a million years this would happen to our country, even though I knew history of other countries. So yeah, I don't, and we both agree. We talked about it on Friday, right? We have two parties in this government that both take money from different organizations, different corporations, different PACs, that basically both sides are bought and paid for with, you know, some select few. And Katie, maybe I'll put a link to, Katie did a great job on this last week. So I'll put a link to that video once we get done. Once it's uploaded, we'll do that, because it is fascinating when you really look at the detail and you know which one of our politicians have been bought. And so when we get out of this, and I believe we will get out of this, we have a lot of work to do. We cannot go back. We have to go forward. And we as citizens have to demand a country the way we want it. We, the people, the way we see it should be run. And so that may be an impossible feat, but we have to start somewhere.
You know, Angry Army Vet was saying that China just has more personnel and has mandatory enlistment. And, you know, and are we going to have the draft like Maureen said? Are we going to start the draft? And because of his ignorance, are we going to end up dead? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you know, and I don't know what to say.
Well, I did a poll asking if who thought that that Trump made a good decision on going to war with Iran, and it was 86% no. So we do have some people that believe it was the right thing to do. Again, horrible leadership there. We get that, but
that 14%,
paying the price.
I'd like to know if anybody would say answered yes, we should. To answer, let us know a couple of reasons why you think we should have went and bombed Iran in the middle of the night. At least we should have gave them some warning.
Oh, well, I think the whole thing was definitely wrong for us to go into Iran. Nothing is to be gained by that except people losing their lives. And I don't believe in the Iranian government either. They do have a bad government, yeah. But boy, this was not the way to handle it for sure. And I don't think we needed to appease Israel that much. And I mean their leader. I don't mean their people.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what it does seem like he did. And Don pointed that out also, is for some reason he listens to Putin and Netanyahu. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, what they got on you except the Epstein files and the Epstein Island?
Oh, I think a lot of people have something on them. I wish they'd just come forward.
I wish all the information, and they plan on deposing what's her name?
Bondi.
Yeah, Pam Bondi. They're going to depose Pam Bondi, and this time she could be charged with lying. So she has to.
Eventually, we're going to find out. I think with the international investigations, people are not letting this go. We are not letting this go. This needs to come out, and we will tell you, all of us here, Democrat, Republican, we don't care. If you abused underage women, you need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Period.
Whether I know you or not.
Yeah.
We should go to our last clip, just a little, I think, it's obvious. We're getting close to timeout.
So keep this picture in your minds. We'll be reporting on it, see how high it goes. I don't know. Maybe that's a poll we should do next. How high do you think this is going to go?
Like, subscribe, and share. And if you're inclined, join us. That's from Monique.
Yes. Definitely. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps our content to reach more people. We appreciate that. And if you are so inclined to support the work, yes, please become a member. We just started that. And Andrea has a little funny for us to end on, right?
It is funny.
Is it a clean funny, Andrea?
No, I don't know. I don't know nothing about water.
Andrea has a tendency to bring us some
Spicy, right? Spicy.
I like racy.
And I didn't have time to vet it. So let's see.
Let's see what I did.
Just listen, I want to talk to MAGA really quick. I got a question for you, hon. Where's your line? Because it seems like to me, you keep moving the goalpost. I thought that you'd be done with him the moment he made fun of that disabled reporter. Y'all remember that? I remember it. I thought you'd be done with him then, but you weren't. You justified it. And then I thought surely they're going to be done with him when he said he could grab a woman by the... Now, don't get mad at me for that word. He said it first, and you were okay with it. And then I thought, well, surely they're going to be done with him when he paid off a porn star that he cheated on his wife with. It wasn't. You thought that was okay, too. And the mother of all of them was when he incited a riot and an insurrection to try to overturn the election results. I thought that would be the moment that you said, no, this has gone too far. But it wasn't. You defended that too. And now that we're in a place where U.S. citizens are being shot, we're being told that you cannot carry a licensed weapon, which you have always defended by the Second Amendment. You're so gung-ho on freedom of speech, but now that we're arresting journalists, you're defending it all. And so my question for you is, now that 3 million documents have just come out, and some of the most disturbing things I have ever read are accusing this same man of doing things to minors, I'm waiting to see where you move the goalpost to next. I'm going to be real honest with you. It sounds to me like you ain't got a backbone. It's time for you to stand up and realize you've been played for a fool. And guess what? The rest of us are going to be completely willing to accept you with open arms as long as we can get the country back on track. At the end of the day, it is not about what we did in the past. It is about what we do today and how we move forward together. We have got to be more unified. And at some point, you have got to look at yourself and think, out of hundreds of documents, is this a good man? You stood 10 toes down in defense of him, and now all of us are looking at you and wondering either one of two things. Are you going to come over to the right side of history, or are you going to try to move the goalpost yet again? You know, the way that I grew up in the South, you defend women, but yet you stand here and you defend it. And I'm just curious when that's going to end. Okay, honey, listen, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. I just wanted to ask you, where are you going to move that goalpost to next? Do me a favor, go with God and call your mama. And ask her if it'd be okay if someone grabbed her by the Should have ended there. Bye, hon.
Oh, now see, I thought that was going to be a funny. That was a great message.
Yeah, it
great
was.
message.
Great. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I thought he was going to break into song.
Really proud of me. I was like, oh, I've got to play that. I saw.
Yeah, thank you.
Enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we like him. My
Momo.
goodness.
Oh, I love him. Hi, Momo.
Hi, Momo. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us today and the conversation, because we do need to keep open conversations. We need to keep talking, because we as citizens are the ones who are suffering from everything that's happening right now, and we need to stand together. We
are not politicians. We are concerned citizens.
Yeah, we are not professionals.
We appreciate good and thoughtful comments.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
As long as you keep it respectful, we're good.
Yeah.
We're good. Thank you so much for joining us. You know, we love you. We'll be back tomorrow, Wednesday at 4:30 for our standard, regular We the People Unite. We usually have a larger panel. And then again on Friday from our Voices from the Edge roundtable, where our panel members bring in topics of their choice to talk about. So that's usually a fun one. So join us then. Again, thank you. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.
We the people unite.